Pippin was a very small squirrel, so tiny he could be mistaken for a fluffy brown leaf. His bushy tail was bigger than he was, always wiggling with excitement. He lived in a cozy hole in a giant oak, surrounded by the lively sounds of whispering woods. Pippin loved collecting nuts, and today he was excited for a special breakfast, a giant walnut he'd hidden under a mossy stone. With a happy squeak, he hurried to his secret spot. But when he pushed aside the stone, his heart sank. The walnut was gone. Only a little hollow in the earth remained. Pippin's adventure was about to begin. Pippin stared at the empty spot, his tail drooping. The morning sun glimmered through the leaves, but Pippin hardly noticed. His favorite walnut, the one he'd saved for days, was gone. He blinked back a tear, feeling a mix of confusion and disappointment. How could this have happened? Where could his walnut have gone? He remembered hiding it right here, under the mossy stone just yesterday. Now, there was only a patch of disturbed soil and a faint scent of earth. He hadn't eaten it, and he'd hidden it so carefully. Pippin prided himself on being the best nut hider in the whole forest. He always double-checked his hiding spots, making sure no one was watching. He sniffed the air, searching for clues, and noticed a faint trail in the dirt. Something had rolled his walnut away. His nose twitched as he picked up a scent that wasn't his own. The trail led past red mushrooms, their bright caps standing out against the green forest floor. Pippin's heart beat faster as he followed the mysterious path. And under a big fern, its fronds arching overhead like a leafy tunnel. The forest seemed quieter here, as if holding its breath, all the way to the edge of the woods, where the trees grew thick and the shadows deepened. Pippin hesitated, but curiosity pushed him onward. Pippin followed, feeling both nervous and brave. Each step took him further from home, but he was determined to find his missing walnut. The trail ended at a wide, gurgling stream, too far for a little squirrel to jump. The water rushed by, sparkling in the sunlight, and Pippin's heart sank. His quest seemed to have reached a dead end. He looked up and down the bank, hoping for a fallen log or stepping stones. But there was nothing. But Pippin wasn't ready to give up. He took a deep breath, remembering all the times he'd solved tricky problems before. He was determined to solve the great nut mystery. There had to be a way forward, even if it wasn't obvious yet. How could he get across? Pippin's mind raced with ideas, and he knew this adventure was only just beginning. Pippin sat by the stream, his tiny paws folded, and his bushy tail twitching with worry. The gentle sound of the water bubbling over smooth stones filled the air, but Pippin's mind was racing. He stared at the rippling surface, deep in thought, trying to figure out how to solve his problem. He was a great climber, able to leap from branch to branch with ease, but swimming was another story. The stream looked wide and swift, and Pippin knew he couldn't cross it on his own. He felt a little helpless, wishing he had wings or fins instead of just nimble paws. Just then, a friendly frog hopped over, landing with a soft plop on the muddy bank. "Ribbit, what's wrong, little one?" the frog asked, his big eyes full of concern and curiosity. Pippin looked up, surprised but grateful for the company. Pippin explained about his missing walnut, how he'd followed the trail all the way to the water's edge, only for it to disappear. He told the frog how important the walnut was, and how he didn't know what to do next. The frog listened carefully, then smiled kindly. "The forest always provides a way," he said. "Think, Pippin, what floats and is strong enough for you to ride across the stream?" The frog's words sparked a glimmer of hope in Pippin's heart. Pippin's eyes widened as he glanced around and spotted a curved piece of birch bark lying nearby. It was shaped just like a tiny boat, sturdy and light, perfect for a small adventurer like him. Excitement bubbled up inside him as he realized he could use the birch bark to cross the stream. He scampered over, inspecting it from every angle, imagining himself gliding across the water. With a clever plan forming in his mind, Pippin prepared to become Captain Pippin, ready to sail the wild waters in search of his precious walnut. He felt braver already, knowing he had a way forward. His adventure was far from over. In fact, it felt like it was just beginning, with new friends and new challenges waiting on the other side of the stream. With determination shining in his eyes, Pippin took a deep breath. He was ready to try, no matter what awaited him on the other side. Pippin pushed the birch bark to the water's edge, cheered on by the frog. He climbed aboard, heart pounding, and the current carried him away. The world looked different from the middle of the stream. Fish below, dragonflies above. Using a twig as a paddle, Pippin steered his boat, feeling braver with every moment. The gurgling stream sounded like a song of adventure. With a gentle bump, he reached the far bank. Pippin hopped onto the grass, feeling 10 times bigger. He'd crossed the stream. Thanking the frog, he picked up the faint trail of his walnut once more. The quest continued. The winding trail led Pippin, our brave little adventurer, to a sun-dappled clearing deep in the heart of the forest. The golden sunlight danced across the mossy ground, making everything shimmer with a magical glow. Pippin paused, taking in the peaceful beauty, his heart fluttering with excitement and curiosity. There, right in the center of the clearing, he spotted his prize, a giant walnut, bigger than any he'd ever seen. But he wasn't alone. A family of tiny field mice had gathered around the walnut, their whiskers twitching with hope and hunger. At first, Pippin wondered if the mice were trying to steal his treasure. But as he watched, he realized they weren't thieves at all. The little mice were simply hungry, and the walnut was far too big and tough for them to open on their own. Pippin's heart softened. He remembered times when he'd been hungry and wished for a helping paw. So instead of chasing the mice away, he offered to help them. With a few clever taps and a determined push, Pippin cracked open the giant walnut. He broke it into pieces and shared the delicious treat with the grateful mice, who squeaked with delight and thanked him with bright, shining eyes. As they all nibbled together in the warm sunlight, Pippin realized that sharing his treasure made him feel even happier than if he'd eaten it all alone. The joy of giving filled him up in a way no feast ever could. The mice, now full and cheerful, wanted to thank Pippin for his kindness. They scurried off and soon returned, helping him gather more nuts and berries from the forest. Together, they worked as a team, laughing and chattering as they filled Pippin's little pouch with treats to take home. When it was time to leave, Pippin waved goodbye to his new friends. He sailed back across the sparkling stream on his trusty leaf raft, his heart brimming with happiness and his spirits soaring higher than ever before. Pippin had set out in search of treasure, but he found something even more precious: friendship, kindness, and the joy of helping others. He had made new friends and helped a family in need, and that made him feel like a true hero. He learned that true bravery isn't just about facing dangers or finding riches. It's about having the courage to be kind, to share what you have, and to help those who need it most. And as Pippin rested in the peaceful clearing, surrounded by friends and the gentle sounds of the forest, he knew that this was the best adventure of all.